Well, let's bring in Kethevane Gorjestani, our international affairs editor. Well, this issue hasn't gone away, Kethevane, but this is both leaders saying, well, we'll stay on the diplomatic path.
Yes, that's really the message coming out of this meeting and this agreement. It's avoid the use of force and avoid any type of escalation, even in rhetoric. But the joint statement that came out of that meeting said that any dispute will be resolved in accordance with international law. So the actual dispute over the territory hasn't really gone away. They've simply said we're not going to use conflict to solve it. We're going to use international law. And that is an issue because they don't agree on what type of international law to use, because Guyana insists that its borders are not up for a discussion and that the International Court of Justice has to make the decision. That said, Venezuela still doesn't recognize the jurisdiction of that court. So the problem, the lingering problem, is still going to be there. The other thing that Guyana said is that our borders are not up for discussion, and we do not seek war, but we reserve the right to work with all of our partners to ensure the defense of our country. And some of these partners include, for example, the United States. The United States just recently carried out military exercises in Essequibo, even though they all insist that this has nothing to do with the current issue, but it does show that Guyana has the support of the United States, a sort of sign to stay away and back off any conflict for Venezuela. So for now, things have settled down, but we'll see where it goes from there.
Factors to bear in mind here, Kethevane. First of all, this is the rearing of the head of an old dispute, but no coincidence that in recent years, 11 billion barrels of oil found in Essequibo. Tell us about the background to this and perhaps, given what you said, the difficult diplomacy now, where it could go next.
Well, yeah, exactly. This has been a dispute for at least a century, but it really resurfaced and was brought back to the forefront by Venezuela around 2015. And that's really when these oil reserves were discovered in Essequibo. So it's really about the oil and about getting your hand on a land that is oil-rich and mineral-rich. And then there was this referendum on December 3rd brought by Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela to sort of make Essequibo a new Venezuelan state, and he asked his voters to come out. They came out in droves, according to the authorities. And then last week, Maduro said that he would authorize the exploration of oil in Essequibo, even though currently Venezuela has no power over that territory. This all is an old conflict. There's oil involved. There's also a lot of politics involved. Next year, there's a presidential election in Venezuela, and observers are saying that this referendum and this question of Essequibo is a way of gouging support for Nicolas Maduro and a way for him also to motivate his supporters ahead of these elections. So a lot of things involved here. And usually when there's oil involved and politics involved, there's a lot of rhetoric around it. Observers are saying not likely to get into conflict, but it could always be used to be toned up or down ahead of the elections.